you holding my hand? Whoops. Sorry. You're beautiful. What's up, party people? My name is Surina. You're watching Now It's So Vivid, and today I'm going to fulfill a YouTube pagan, well, obligation's not the right word, but I'm basically earning a merit badge, I guess, because today I'm going to show you my witchy books. I'm going to explain the process of my magical journaling, and I will let you decide what I should call it, because right now I don't call it anything except maybe my art journal. I don't have a chance to verbalize this ever, and the video is giving me an opportunity to do that. So let's just get right to it, shall we? I'm going to turn the camera around and show you my thing. So before you, I have displayed my witchy books in all of their glory. We're going to do this chronologically. I'm going to explain how I came to the current process that I have. Truth be told, I actually think that all of these books could be considered my Book of Shadows. Well, except for one. I'll explain as we go, but essentially my process goes throughout all of these books in sort of a step-by-step process, and I will sort of explain as I go. So here, let's just do it. We're going to start here on the left. This journal right here is something that I received sort of a year to a year and a half after I started practicing. It was when my fiance and I got together, and he gave me this journal. And I hadn't, up till that point, been doing any of my spiritual journaling in a specific book. I just put it in my day-to-day journal. And he gave me this one, and I was like, oh, good, you know, I've been meaning to have, like, a Book of Shadows. That seems to be the thing that people have. So I'll use this. And for a time, that was exactly what this was. And then I went through kind of like a rut where I was getting frustrated with myself because I'm a messy person. I have a tendency to write fast and then scribble. And my pages didn't look neat or fancy or, you know, special or anything, and I was you know, filled with a lot of frustration with myself because I couldn't make anything pristine and, you know, sort of beautiful and, you know, archivable, I guess, and I was upset by that. So I decided to, like, park this for a little while and just let it sit, and I made myself this book. Now this book is actually like a small leather 3-ring binder thing. I think at one point it was like an address book, and I decorated it. And as you can see, there ain't nothing inside it. Well, because I was so hung up on the idea that my book should be absolutely pristine and like something to be preserved throughout time, I never actually put anything in it. I think in total I had ever made 6 pages for this, and I hated them all, and I got angry one time and I just kind of like ripped them out. So this is considered to me an experiment failed. Now, it is very beautiful. I really like the way I decorated it, but I haven't really found a purpose for it since I just kind of gave up. And who knows, maybe I'll find something to do with it. Maybe I will have this as a giveaway item if I reach a certain milestone, like a certain number of subscribers on YouTube or likes on Facebook or something. I'll just give this to another person and it can have a happier home there, because I can't figure out what to do with it. As beautiful as it is, it doesn't serve my needs anymore. And what had happened was that I ended up going back to this journal. So I was like backtracking a little bit. So I used this for a little while as my Book of Shadows, and unfortunately it wasn't really suiting my needs either, and it kind of evolved into this weird, scrappy... Hold on, are there any more pages? Yeah, there are. There's a lot of pages. So there, this is like my first draft pages, I guess you could call it. This is where I write down, like, my initial notes for a ritual. I have a lot of lists in here, things torn out and reinserted. I make sigils in this book. I do, there's an example of some sigil making, and there. And, you know, I have things crossed out, and this is, like, my workbook, honestly. So, it didn't really become, like, the place where I record, like, the final product, the full sentences of my ritual, but I do use this, and it is an integral tool in my practice right now, and it has a permanent spot under my altar on this shelf right here. So that is step one of how I do my magical journaling. This is another book that I use quite a lot, and it sits right beside my other journal on that shelf. And this is just where I keep my Esbat rituals. I have a tendency to, because they're the rituals I do the most often, I will just sort of journal them entry by entry. And so there's just a chronological sort of form to all of this. And it's a very attractive silver journal, which I thought was very appropriate. The next book isn't a book, it's a binder, and it's very heavy. And I started utilizing this because I was accumulating like an uncanny amount of internet printouts, and I like hoard my printouts. I don't, just get rid of shit. So I had papers everywhere, and I decided it was high time for me to actually find a place, a organized place to put them so that I can reference them again. And the result of that is this magic binder. I've had this for a couple years, so it's pretty full right now. It's probably due for a clean out. But, I keep some handouts and like things that I subscribed to Witch Crate for a little while, so I have some of my Witch Crate stuff in here. I have a bunch of stuff in here, but I have everything in sort of laid out by sections, and that's a quote I found on Tumblr that I really liked. Calendar and dates. So we've got some charts in the front. And then tips and advice, which is one of my favorite sections, actually. Articles that I want to read, where I sort of chew on things philosophically. And then the biggest section is bulk reference. Big. Lots of deity stuff in the front, and also runes and what's it called? There's a whole sacred geometry section in here. And what was the other thing? What else was I gonna say? Correspondences, runes, sacred geometry. I'm drawing a blank, but it doesn't really matter. So that's my big reference section. And then more things to ponder there. DIY and crafts, which is a fun section. And then I think there's only 6, right? Nope. Look, this is the last one. I skipped 2 of them and left them empty. Work pages and notes. So this gets a lot of use. It's pretty Marvy, if you ask me, to have a place to store all of my reference material that isn't explicitly in its own published book. So yeah, that's really cool. I kind of consider being a witch kind of like committing yourself to being a full-time student. Depending on how hardcore you are, because some people really just learn at their own pace, and I know I certainly do. But I do kind of feel like a full-time student sometimes, and I'm a solitary, so I'm my own teacher, and having a binder has been a great piece of that journey, I guess you could say, where I can sort of like utilize a lot of the things that I choose for myself, and I create my own curriculum. So having a magic binder, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So then we come at last to what I currently consider the closest thing to being my grimoire. I don't really use the term grimoire for no reason. I don't mind it, but I mean, like, because I have so many books and they all fulfill a certain function, I just don't feel like this one is more special than the rest. But this is where I keep all of my records of, my magical practice, and I'm going to spend a few minutes here paging through. There's a section I sort of put to the side so that I can do like a table of contents at some point. I don't really keep up with it, but it is there if I want to. So here I've got my prayer beads, my Wheel of the Year prayer beads. These are broken, actually, and then I had to reassemble them from memory, so I decided that would never happen again. I drew them out. Got stuff about the household broom. There's a piece of it glued in there. Casting a circle. Got some sigils that I made. Family altar. Oh, I always try to include a piece of whatever I'm doing, so this is the a dribble of wax from the hearth candle. Some notes and incantations. There are a lot of 2-page spreads in this book, and a lot of sort of interactive pieces like fold-outs and stuff like that. Drawings, hidden stuff. This was an herbal concoction that I kind of used like glitter, where I drew something in glue and then sprinkled it over top and tapped it off, so that I can include some of my herbal blends in my book. This is a sew-on patch, or an iron-on patch that I sewed and embroidered the letter C onto. That's like a fancy header. Grounding and centering. I might skip a few pages because there are a couple things in here that are kind of private, I guess. This is my spread to the elements. I always come back and add to this stuff later, so there's lots of open space. I consider a lot of the pages in here, especially the specifically artsy pages, to be kind of like works in progress. I like giving myself that freedom. My charm for home protection. That is a real tuft of hair from everybody who lives here. Actually, that might just be my hair. I don't think I put everybody's hair in the book. Just mine. There's Molly Roberts' gratitude ritual. She gets a couple of shout-outs in this book. She was really the one that kind of inspired me to art journal as a method of my magical record keeping. Not really something I had thought of before, which is kind of insane because I am a visual learner and I'm an artist, and this was a very obvious, like when she said it, I was like, oh yeah, duh, of course I can do that. So that's exactly what I did. So thanks, Molly. You really helped a sister out. Here's some illustrations I did of some magical creatures I was studying. Seelie Fae, and then Unseelie Fae on the other side. On this sticky note, I drew a Wheelie Fae because that's how it was auto-corrected in my phone one time. I did that drawing at work and then I brought it home. I was really big into the Fae last year. This is one of the many versions of The Tale of Tam Lin. One of my favorite legendary stories of all time. Is that just the paper coming off? Okay, I'll have to re-glue that. Here's my Beltane ritual last year. The fires of Beltane burn hot. What's this? Oh, my feminine and masculine page. Again, lots of empty space that I can glue things in as I find them. This is a picture of Frida Kahlo, dressed in a suit, embodying the masculine. This was my spread to Morpheus when I first started working with him. I was very inspired by this sort of surreal image in my mind of him being showered in little prisms and sprinkling stardust on this sleeping person. I was really happy how this turned out. I put full coloring book pages in here whenever I finish them. Just some random journaling. Some flowers that I Mod Podged inside. That page right over here is kind of private, so I think I'm gonna leave that one out. But this is the page that I devoted to my big wand called Dextra. She's sitting right over there. Thoughts on deity. Oh, when I got my driver's license last year, I did a lot of spell work and I recorded it all in here. This is a page that I made. This is my witch's alphabet. But this is a page that I made and I'm not really sure what I'm going to put on it yet. There's a lot of those pages in here. Sometimes I just decorate a page or just use this as an art journal and I'm like, I'll come back and add something to it later. Ah, so Litha and the full moon, the summer solstice last year, they both fell on the same day, so they're high-fiving each other right there. Some shadow work there. Probably leave a lot of that out. This is my stuff from Witch Camp last year. Another work in progress spread about the use of music in magic. That's something I'll make a video about here soon. Got lots to say. Ah, here you go. These are pages that I decorated. That I was like, oh, I'll just add to them later. It's just good to, like, play with color and collage and stuff. I really enjoy stuff like that. Samhain. We went to Mexico shortly after Samhain last year, so I added that as part of this spread. It felt appropriate. Oh, here's the other shout out to Molly Roberts. I participated in 25 Days of Doodlemas. I was going through a very slow period at work, and there was a lot of time for me to just sit there and doodle. Which is funny, thinking about that now. I'm so busy at work now. The tables have turned very drastically. This is where I keep my inventory of crystals. Another decorated page. This one I might devote to alchemy because of the images that I used. Oops. This page right here has our food blessing on it, and Julia Child makes an appearance because she is the the patroness saint of cooking and food preparation in our house, and I'm kind of in love with her. My fiance used to watch her as a kid, and he loved watching her and growing up with her, and one of the ways that we kind of bonded when we first started dating was that he would put on episodes of The French Chef, her show from the 60s. And I just fell in love with her. She's such a cute character. She was so impassioned with her work. And, you know, she didn't really find out what she wanted to do with her life until she was around 40. So that's inspiring to me because, you know, I'm in my late 20s and still not entirely sure what I want to do with my life. I think I have some ideas, but I haven't chosen one. And learning of Julia Child's story and how she came to her success is, you know, kind of a relief. You know what I mean? Puts a lot less pressure on me, I feel like, and I really look up to her. This is my page devoted to ritual bath with a skinny dipping witch. I like how her bra is hanging on the broom. This image makes me laugh. There's another coloring book page. I traced my hand. Participated in a little bit of doodle action in the middle and colored it in. I got these alcohol markers. I'm kind of a fan of them. I use them all the time now. Here's my spread from the equinox. Weren't that long ago. Found these great pressed flower dandies. I love collaging. It's so much fun. These are pansies that we grow in our garden. The ones on the border here. So if you've been watching some of my most recent videos, you'll know that I'm going through a process of a legal name change, and I have like a very elaborate spread here where I drew my witch Sona and all of the qualities of her, of me, and I'm doing a personal transformation quarter by quarter during this moon cycle. So I started on the new moon and I did something in the first quarter, the full moon. The third quarter was this week and I did something. I've yet to record it in here, but I do have my notes prepared. And then some additional stuff about where I kind of want my life to go. Like I said, I have some ideas of, you know, what I want my thing to be, and I think it has to do with using my voice. And the butterfly is a a big symbol for me right now. It's a very easily accessible one because it's kind of popular in stickers and other art journaling supplies. Like you can see, it's on this envelope right here, and I've just been feeling the butterfly energy. I actually have a funny story about a butterfly. Maybe I'll tell you at the end of the video. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the book. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. Oh, and then this is actually, I had not intended this to be a permanent fixture, but I had bought these metallic markers and I was kind of playing around with them, and I was like, maybe I should do it on the outside of my book, because I hadn't done any decorating. The reason of which is because when this art journal starts getting full, it starts getting bulky, and I was like, maybe I'm gonna want to like cut all the signatures out of this book and remake a cover for it so that it fits a little more appropriately. So I was just kind of like, let's just doodle and see what happens. And I love it, actually. It got a little smeary here and there, but honestly, I think it looks so cool, I might just keep it, like, put a glaze over it or something so that it doesn't accidentally smear away. So that's it. That's it. You got to see my books. I hope this was entertaining and that you enjoyed what you saw. I might include some more pages at a future time. Maybe start incorporating them into some of my other videos. Depending on what they're about. I do have some other pages that I've been really aching to like put in here lately. I've been really into art journaling, especially in the springtime. I feel like it really gets my creative juices flowing. I did take a brief hiatus throughout winter. That's why there's no entry for Yule in here, but that's okay. You know, I don't have to do it all the time. I like having this option, you know what I mean? I like having this outlet. And it's really helped me, because there was a while there where I wasn't really doing any journaling at all, and it was mostly when that thing was my basic book of shadows, and I don't know, it just kind of sat under my altar and collected dust, and I was going through kind of like a spiritual funk. And that happens every once in a while. I totally get it. I know it's not just me. But I think the art journal has really helped me kind of like, it let the dam sort of burst and let all of my creative expression, give my creative expression a place to flow out, and now I don't feel so stopped up anymore. I sat on my foot and it fell asleep, and now I can't walk. Alright guys, that was hopefully enjoyable for you. You'll see me again soon. I've got some more video ideas that I want to put together. I won't give you any spoilers this time, actually, because then you'll be like, where's that video about XYZ, Surina? And I'll be like, oh, I'm getting to it. I'm very lazy and I have a hard time with commitment, so I don't want to disappoint anybody. But I do want to participate more and talk more in the YouTube pagan community. It's really fun watching everybody's videos, and I love making videos, and I'm just hoping that with all the other crazy stuff going on in my life right now, that I don't disappear on you guys again. So root me on. Wish me luck. Wish me luck in my court date next week. I'm going on Wednesday to my hearing for my name change, and we'll see how it goes. I've done a lot of mental preparation so far, just in case I'm not granted permission by the court to change my name. That is a very definite possibility. I would say the odds are in my favor, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want. And, you know, it's easier to sort of try to prepare yourself for a moment like that so you don't, you know, break down totally. So I'm doing my best, and a lot of my ritual work throughout this moon cycle has been about personal transformation and realizing my potential and realizing what my strengths are, realizing that I am changed and that I'm not like the same naive child that I thought I always was, that I can mature, that I can grow, that I can learn from my mistakes. And I think high expectations are something, a quality of myself that I've struggled with in the past. So wish me luck, please. I would appreciate all the blessings you can muster. Hot damn, I forgot to tell you my story about the butterfly. I was at work today, and I was on my way out of the building to my lunch break, and there's like these concrete steps outside of the building where I work, and I almost stepped on a butterfly, and I was like, you know, because that would have been tragic. So I tried to move it, and I realized that it was injured. this little butterfly was like kind of walking in circles on the pavement, and then I picked it up and it was walking in circles on my hand. And I was like, you know what, you're gonna get stepped on. So I scooped it up and I tossed it into the grass. And then I went about my lunch break, and I stopped at a coffee shop on the way back, and I was like, maybe I should get some simple syrup if they have it and see if I can feed it to that butterfly. You never know, he's probably hungry or something. So I got this little cup of simple syrup, and I walked back, and sure enough, the butterfly was still there where I left him. So I brought him into my office and I gave him some simple syrup. He wasn't interested in eating, and I was a little heartbroken because I think he was trying to die. Either that or he was just too injured to survive. But either way, I kept him in my office for like an hour or two, and he kept me company. And every once in a while, he would like flap his wings open very gently like that. And sometimes he would like shake his little butterfly arm at me, and it was like, get off my damn lawn kind of thing. And it was very cute. And then I eventually was like, all right, well, I don't think I can do anything more for this creature. So I brought him back outside and I put him in the grass again. And at least if he passes, he'll do it in his natural habitat. But that was personally touching to me, because as I've previously said, all of this name change woo-woo stuff that I've been doing lately has been very heavily inspired by, visually anyway, by the butterfly and, you know, the personal transformation of emerging out of your cocoon and all of that stuff. So it was a necessary little lesson for me to be able to let that go, because at first I was kind of intent on like keeping him safe and, oh my god, it's my responsibility to save him, and I realized after a few hours that I don't think anything's changing and I don't think he's interested in being saved. So I decided to put him where I think he was the happiest, and that was pretty special. So anyway, I think I've rambled on enough now. You've been sitting here a long time. Anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time, sweet dreams.